Hey, my name is James Nicholson, and in this video I want to talk about, will your buy-to-let investments that you've got become illegal in the near future? Now keep watching to the end because you really want to know all the information that I'm going to talk about here today, but more importantly, what can you do about it, and is there an opportunity because of this? Now, my name is James Nicholson and I want to invite you along on my investment journey. Now, I'm currently growing my property portfolio, but more interestingly, I'm sharing how I'm building a portfolio for my two daughters. We've got Georgia, who's 21. We've just completed our second deal this year, which you can see on this channel. We've recorded all of it. Firstly, we bought a property at auction, and then we just bought a flat in Dorking in Surrey. So do check out the other videos on the channel to see how those investments have gone. And also we're building a portfolio for my little baby, Amelie. So how can you join us on the journey? Well, you can take that finger of power, spin it round, smash that subscribe button over there and hit the bell notification. Now, let's talk about, will your property investment become illegal? Now, the deal that I've just bought in Dorking for my daughter, Georgia, is a deal that came onto the market for exactly the reason that I'm going to talk about. And that's because of something called EPCs. Now, what does that even mean? It stands for Energy Performance Certificate. Now, there's some new potential legislation coming out in 2025 that if you don't have your EPC, your energy rating on your property, to at least a C, then you won't be able to rent out the property. Now, that has spooked a lot of landlords. In fact, a ton of landlords are just putting their properties on the market because the market is at a high at the moment and they just want to get rid of them, right? They just want to get rid of those properties and focus on other investments. Maybe they've made some good money over the years, because landlords are getting hit by all sides at the moment. You've got Section 24, which is the tax stuff if you have a property in your individual name, and you've got energy performance certificates potentially stopping you from renting a property in 2025. Now, this isn't actually a law that's been enacted. It's legislation that's been talked about, that they've got a guide date of 2025 to give us some sort of indication. Now, here's where the problem lies. 80% of the UK rental stock is not at a level C. 80%. Now, how do you get to a level C? Well, you might have to have things like a new boiler. Right, that's not the end of the world. I'd rather not get new boilers everywhere, but if I had to, you can get a new boiler for 1,200 quid and get yourself higher up on the energy performance certificate. You could put loft insulation in, right? Again, not a huge amount of money, but what if you've got to insulate things like walls? What if you've got to put double glazing in? What if you've got to do all of these things because you've got a Victorian building, for example? Then it can get very, very expensive. Now, what's even more interesting is a lot of landlords don't even know that this new legislation is potentially creeping up on them right now. So what happens if they find about it in 2024 and all the building firms are just flat out and they can't get a builder, even if they want to help them get that energy rating up to a level C? Now, my opinion is that I don't think that this is going to come into effect by 2025. I think that it will creep up a little slower than that. I think they're going to slow the process down because there are not enough houses that have that energy performance level of C. Because let's just look at this for argument's sake. What if this number here is maybe 10 million houses in the UK that aren't suddenly going to be able to be rented out? That's going to cause some huge crisis that somebody needs to really think about. What is potentially going to happen here? Now, that isn't going to work, is it? You're not going to suddenly be able to say to landlords, if you don't get it to a C, you can't rent it out. So maybe there will be some sort of penalty that you can pay to allow you to rent it out. One thing that I have seen that's happening on the mortgage front is there are mortgages now that if you have an A or a B rating, you actually get a cheaper mortgage, which is pretty good, right? And so they're giving better rates to some people to incentivize people, to allow them to, incentivize them to get to a level A or a B. Now, don't get me wrong. I think insulation, boilers, ground source heat pumps, solar energy, all of these things are very good. I think it's important. I genuinely believe in global warming, and I think that we should be looking to improve the environment for our kids. I've got 2 girls and hopefully they'll have kids one day as well. But I think we've got to be realistic here in what the government is doing. Now, one thing that maybe they'll bring in, which they did do previously, was they had something called the Green New Deal. And that meant that you could get funding, you could get money off of insulation and all of these things. And there are various schemes that come and go from this. I think the government's really got to look long and hard about what can they offer. Because look, the country is just about to go into a recession. Interest rates are going to be rising. You've got to help somehow to do that. And by funding or putting grants out there, then the money comes back to the government anyway, because it really will grow those green companies and it will allow them to hire new people, which is good for the economy. They'll get VAT payments back off of that. And eventually, by spending that money, it will come round full circle. So I think that the government's got to really look at this EPC guideline stuff, help landlords get to a level C. But opportunity-wise, for you guys as investors, there are lots of properties that you could quite easily get to a level C. Look for properties that are maybe a D at the moment and speak to someone about how you could get it up to a level C, because some landlords just can't be bothered to do this. I've taken one property from a D to a C very recently. It wasn't much work. We put insulated plasterboards into the property. So it's like a plasterboard, and on the back of the plasterboard is some insulation that's about this thick, right? And so that really helped with the insulation. That was a single brick room that was freezing cold in the winter. And so we're not just doing this to make money, we're doing this to actually make the property more livable, because I actually lived in that flat many years ago in Dorking. It was freezing in the bedroom, absolutely freezing. So you could see your breath some evenings. So no tenants ever lived in that. I got it insulated properly, and now the new tenants say it's lovely and warm in there, which is really, really important for them and for me, right? And so that is something that you could do, is look at opportunities, find landlords that don't want to do all this work, and look at how you could up those ratings to a C, because when you do that, you're going to add massive value to the property, potentially get yourself a better interest rate, be ticking that box for that 2025 thing as well. So that's another opportunity. So when there are new things like this, I want you guys to think of it as an opportunity, not think that it's a negative thing all the time. But what are your thoughts on this? I'd love to know your thoughts. Did you know about this EPC thing? Do you think it's all a load of fluff? Do you think they'll just kick it down to 2030 or 2035? What do you genuinely think is going to happen off the back of this? Do comment below and let me know, guys. Do like this video very quickly. It'll take you 2 seconds. Give it a quick like. Smash it over there, guys. That helps me with YouTube. Check out all my other videos. Come and see us in London at our live event. I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can put your name and email address in, and you'll get details on all the tickets to that event in London. I'd love to meet you guys personally, face to face. Do check out all my other videos. As I said, we've made some content around the new property that we've got with Georgia and the first property we've got since we've been doing this channel. And we'll keep making new videos as we get new deals as well. This video here is really cool, so go and check it out right now. Bye for now.